I'm very pleased to introduce you to the team from Vinchio Vaglio. I met them actually at a tasting of Italian wine in London, and we got talking about old wines. And it was Tessa who told me about their project as a cooperative to focus on and recuperate old wines in Piemonte, particularly old wines in Barbera, and about how this concern for old wines is also linked to a broader sustainability awareness, in which they're also looking at biodiversity, their relationship with the woodland that surrounds the vineyards, and increasing the kind of reducing the monocultural attitude to wine. They actually have joined the conference as a supporter member, and I'm going to hand over and let Tessa introduce the team and their project and about why they, as a cooperative, champion old wines. Over to you, Tessa.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Tessa Donnadieu, the export manager of Vinchio Vaglio, and I would like to introduce you to Cristiano Fornaro, who is the vice president of the winery. And of course, we bring the hello from the managing director, Marco Giordano, and the president, Lorenzo Giordano. I would like to introduce you first a little bit about the winery and a little bit about the story of Vinchio Vaglio. And then maybe Cristiano will speak a little bit about the story of how our old vines have been mapped and identified. Unfortunately, he's only Italian speaker, so I will be helping him in translation. So we will try to go as quick as we can. Thank you. So just to explain a little bit who we are, the motto of the winery is that we are really the nest of Barbera, because we were one of the first wineries born in 1959 by the idea of only 19 family wine growers who decided to really focus on Barbera grape, and we are really, I would say, traditional Thai Barbera, because we are located in Piedmont, in Monferrato, and especially in the south of Piedmont near Asti. The name of the winery comes from both villages' names, Vinchio and Vaglio Sera, as you can see on the map. And the winery is a co-op, meaning that it's held by an administration council representing all the family wine growers, and it's held by a president, Lorenzo Giordano, and a vice president, Cristiano Fornaro. And of course, I will explain who is the winemaker and how the project is born. You can see some pictures of this is Vinchio and this is Vaglio Sera. So nowadays we represent nearly 200 family wine growers, and for 480 hectares, 70% of our production is dedicated to this specific native grape from Piedmont, Barbera, and all other native grapes of Piedmont. And we produce as well some Nebbiolo, Dolcetto, Ruffè, Brignolino, Armate, and Cortese. In 2017, we've been awarded by the Weinwirtschaft as the first best Italian co-op, and our production represents now nearly 1 million bottles and 700,000 bagging boxes. Sorry. So the winery, the main goal of the winery is, there are two sides. You have the wine growers that grow the vineyards and bring the grapes, 100% of the grapes to the cooperative. And on the other side, the winery is run like a private winery, because there is the managing director who is taking care of the production part. This is the winery that you can see on the pictures, and there is all the process of vinification made on from the plant directly at the winery. And then, of course, we vinify, produce the wine, and then we trade it. We usually produce nearly 35,000 hectoliters every year, and we are very careful regarding the Barbera because we work on the selection directly from the vineyard. We will decide of the level of Barbera we want to produce. And that's why we have a special care, especially for our old vines, because we vinify by themselves and make a special specific wine called Vinchio Vaglio. We are trying in the last few years, of course, to keep a certain level of sustainability of our environment. And we, in 2009, which was the 50th anniversary of the winery, we decided to invest in solar panel. So we are nearly self-sufficient regarding the energy. And the last project was to create like a sustainable tourism, and we created little paths. We bought some woods nearby the winery, and we created a little path from the winery to the vineyards, just to enjoy an experience outside the winery and connect the people directly to the vineyards. This is really beautiful. This is the timeline of the winery. We were born in 1959, and I can say that in 1985, when we decided to start with the Vinchio Vaglio Old Vine project, it was really like the renaissance of Barbera, meaning that it was really the first qualitative project of the winery, and we were one of the first winery to think that Barbera grape can be not only a table wine, but can become an outstanding red wine that can stand on every table internationally. So we start really the project, the quality project on Barbera, thanks to the Vinchio Vaglio project. Then in 2009, as I said, we make a big investment on a new technology, high technology bottling line, and we launched the second wine of the project Vinchio Vaglio, which is called Vinchio Vaglio 50. So, as I explained, the winery is managed by a president and the vice president and the managing director. The enologist is Giuseppe Ratazzo, and is consultant, external enologist, but we have a young enologist called Matteo Laiolo, who is taking care every day in the winery, inside the winery, of the wines and the selection of the wine. Lorenzo Giardano is the president. And I will go deep a little bit more speaking about the terroir, which is very unique and which help us to get that really unique wines, and especially Barbera. So we are on very sandy soil, and it's a mix of clay and sandy. The specific soil that you can see here is called the terre astiane in Italian. They are very white and very cold soil, which is perfect for the Barbera, because Barbera is a quite productive grape. So it helps to, I would say, maintain a certain yield per hectare, but naturally. And another specificity, they are the very, you can still find fossil or shells, because the soil born in the Pliocene era between 5 and 3 million years ago. So that's very specific to that area. of course, the climate, we are only 1.5 hours far from the Alps and 1.5 hours far from the seaside and the Iberian coast. And what is very important and what we missed that this year was the temperature shift between night and day, which is very important to keep the freshness and the elegance in the Barbera. But this year it was really difficult because of the drought. But this is one of the criteria which is very important for that grape. The vineyards, as you can see, are very steep slopes in. So everything is manual. We cannot intervene with the machine. So all the work in the vineyards are manual. So from the pruning, from working in the vineyards, the harvest, everything.
Tessa?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just conscious of time, and I was wondering if I could just move you on to talking about your old vines, particularly.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
And the growers of those old vineyards.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I explained, the project started in 1987, and that they identify. We can just arriving, those are really our old vines, and they identify at that moment. I want to show you that picture of the former project, and it was initially held by the managing director and our former winemaker Giuliano Noè, who decided to mark the oldest vine of minimum 50 years old vines on the best position, on the best exposure, and decided because the wine growers were to take them out and to replace by younger vines. So the managers say that we could help them, of course, because the yield per hectare was so low and the quantity was so low. So we decided to pay the grapes more than the price of the market, just to reward the fact that they maintain that patrimony of old vines. So that was really the first step of the project. Nowadays, we have two main vines located, one in Vinchio, which is the average age are around 60 and 65 years old, and they are representing each nearly 1 hectare each. And the characteristics are very similar: clayey, sandy soil, the altitude is around 250 above the sea level. And there are soft exposure, guyo pruning, and the yield, of course, per hectare is very low. And that are the characteristics of our old vines. Nowadays, we produce nearly between Barbera d'Asti and Barbera d'Asti Superiore Vigne Vecchie, we produce nearly 30,000 bottles of these old vines.
And how much more do you pay for the grapes, for these old vines, than you would do for the grapes for younger vines?
What is the percentage between the young and the older vine?
No, how much more do you pay?
How much more we pay?
How much more do you pay for the old vine fruit?
Quanto si pagano di più? Sorry, I'm asking.
Quasi il doppio.
Nearly double of the price.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And how much more expensive is the old vine wine than your standard cuvée?
On the price, the final price?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, so for the Vigne Vecchie 50 is around 16, between 16 and 17 pounds, sorry. And for the Barbera d'Asti Superiore Vigne Vecchie, it comes out around 23, 24 pounds around at the consumer in the UK.
A premium priced Barbera, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. Well, the reason I really wanted to introduce you to the Old Wine Conference and the audience we have is that there's often a perception that cooperatives are not necessarily a positive force when it comes to protecting old vineyards, because they can be a force for that old vine fruit actually disappearing into generic or general, higher volume blends. I know we've got some Louises here from the Languedoc, all about this. Sorry, but I actually wanted to, I really wanted to share what you did, because I think it just shows that actually it's entirely viable for a cooperative to also support old vine heritage, to pay more for the fruit and to make a really great premium wine from that fruit, and to put it at the center of, at the heart of their communication. So the wines are available outside to taste. They're in the tasting room and they're absolutely terrific. I love the 50-year-old old vine Barbera. Is unoaked. It's just the most gorgeously lush Barbera. And Tessa, I'm so sorry, we're running out of time, but I just wondered, does anyone have any questions for us?
Are they seeing more and more people keeping their vines now? Because they're doing one. Being a cooperative, I see more and more growers keeping their old vines.
Great question. Tessa, it's a question from Brad Bourne, who you know, and his question is, are you seeing more of your members now being interested in keeping their old vines in the ground because they know there's a product for them?
Tu vedete un incremento di viticoltori verso il mantenimento di questo patrimonio delle vigne vecchie? Come funziona se qualcuno vuole... Sorry, I'm asking the...
Sicuramente, allora, vedere un incremento, ovviamente ci stiamo basando su vigne di 70 anni fa, quindi il grosso obiettivo nostro è quello di mantenerle, perché fondamentalmente una vigna vecchia dà molto meno prodotto rispetto a un nuovo impiantamento. Diciamo che l'obiettivo della cantina è cercare di mantenere, non solo per il territorio, ma anche per il prodotto finale, questi vitini, assicurando ovviamente al produttore, al contadino, un rendimento superiore rispetto invece a un impiantamento nuovo.
So we are speaking about nearly 70 years old vines. So of course, this is really our goal to maintain, and we are trying to convince, of course, all the wine growers, the family wine growers, by giving them a better economy, because we know that they produce less. So we wanted to reward them, and we are trying to get more and more members to get in that project. Of course, the goal is in the next few years, maybe to increase the production. I'm thinking about, for example, the Vigne Vecchie 50, who has having a great success at the moment. And we really wanted to convince many more and more of our wine growers to maintain that patrimony, especially for the territory as well, because it has been the base of a real economy in our territory. Otherwise, it would have been totally to the woods, or if the vineyards would have not been maintained. You see what I mean?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry our time is short. We have to move on now, but I want to thank you for joining us, for sending the wine, for supporting the conference, and also for this project. And good question. And I think the answer was yes.
Okay, thank you so much to everybody, and thank you to you, Sarah, and all the organization.
Thank you, bye bye.
Thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Tessa.